that should help. Just give it time to work its way through. Rob, M0DTS Portable, you'll be on first. Followed by Nigel, 2E0EHH. I saw Michelle, HB9DUG, testing earlier. Michelle, if you can come up on the chat if you're going to join us this evening, that would be good. So Rob, M0DTS will be on first. News for this week, don't forget that Saturday the Kittens event is on, held by the Wirral Amateur Radio Society at their headquarters in Leeso. I'll be doing a talk on Portsdown and Ryde developments in the morning, but that's an in-person event at the Wirral. Sunday, another busy day. BATC will have a stand at the Dunstable Downs Rally, so please make an effort to attend there. And next thing on the calendar is the contest on 11th, 12th of June. The weekend after that will be at Harwell with the BATC stand. Week after that we'll be at Hamfest and then Newbury, so quite a lot going on. Right, the order is M0DTS Portable, Rob first, followed by Nigel, 2E0EHH, followed by Michelle, HB9DUG, and then Brian, GW4KAZ, Richard, GI4DOH, Mike, G0MJW, John, G7JTT, Gareth, G4XAT, and then Martin, G8KOE, and then back to me or to somebody else. So please keep the overs short, so that we can get round everybody at least once and preferably twice. So straight over to Rob, M0DTS Portable and the net, G8GKQ.
Right, there we go. So I'll swap over to the indoor audio. Yeah, good evening to everyone. I'll just bring over to the other camera. Where are we at? Let's just that one off. There we go. So yeah, good evening. Hopefully that should work. So yeah, I'm out portable again. Different location today. We're up in County Down today. Quite high up. I can't remember the height actually. It's quite a high spot, this one. The location is Stang Top, which is a few miles south of Barnard Castle, which seemingly is where you go to get your eyes tested, if everyone remembers that story. But we're okay today. Yeah, I had a few issues starting up. The Pluto I'm using for transmit, that decided to not boot properly. There was no blue flashlight on there, so I had to do a whole DFU firmware update on it before the start of the net, which is a bit annoying. But there we go. That's how things go, isn't it? So there we are. But, right, I'll just switch over to the other camera. I'll do a little pan around. You can see the view from this spot. Quite nice this evening. It's not very warm, as you can see. I've still got a jacket on. This is IO94, you know. Right. Right. I'll grab this camera. Hopefully you should get me okay on the other camera here. Quite a good view. Just come out. Pan around to the van. You can see the setup on the van. just the same as we had last week. You can't quite see the feed there, but I suppose I'd better show it. So that's pretty much how it's looking. Changed anything yet. I do want to go to an offset dish to get the feed pointing up rather than pointing down over, just to get a bit more RF in the air rather than scattered around. But still working fine. Tripod back up here. There's one little bit of high ground in the distance which I need to look on a map to try and figure out where it is. If I just zoom in over here, this is pretty high up anyway. But in the distance there, there's lots of zoom. There is another bit of high ground. I need to have a look, see where that is, because that's very high, wherever it is. You can probably hear the grouse in the background as well. But, that's looking pretty much south. I'll zoom in a little bit, see towards the horizon. But yeah, it's quite a good spot. Probably not ideal for all microwaves, but it is pretty good. Didn't realise how good it was. Not actually been here before. I think I've driven past, but not done that. So if we come around here, you can kind of see over towards Teesside. Home QTH is just hidden behind the hill here. So like the home QTH is behind there somewhere, but there's a lot of Teesside lit up with the sunlight fading there. And then we bring it round and kind of look more to Durham. Can't quite see any landmarks on the horizon at all, because when you're not familiar with the exact location, you can't pinpoint anything. But yeah, it's really nice. And there is a bit of a valley looking out the back of here. So I'll leave you with that shot. There we go. Yeah. Wow, that actually worked perfectly, so I'm really happy with that. See, it's focusing on the van rather than in the distance. But yeah. Anyway, I'll not keep it too long. So, round to you, Nigel.
I think I've got a skimmer. 280 Good evening, everybody. Yeah, Rob, that's fantastic view, mate. Where's the sun? It's red hot here and the sun's shining. There's no clouds. So it looks like it's quite windy and cloudy at your end. Oh, well. Brilliant sunshine all afternoon here down in the Midlands. Anyway, looks a bit might be cold late. Anyway, sorry I've not been on long, lads. It's since the heavy storms about 3 months ago, we dish moved. And I couldn't do it myself, so I had to wait for my mate, and he was working, etc., etc. But you know, that's how it is. I'm still not happy with it because it's not gone over. Still showing the test card, so I don't know. It's still got bloody problems. So I won't keep it much because I don't know if I'm transmitting. Well, I must be because it's on the streamer. Anyway, I'll add it over to Michelle. HB9DUG, Michelle, take the carry when I've dropped.
1, 2, 3. Okay, seems to work. Good evening, everybody. Pleased to. I need to switch down good evening, everybody. I'm very pleased to be back with you after a few weeks not showing up. Been busy with other things, family, and so on, and also working on our HB9 TV network of relays. Even yesterday we had some issue with a link with another major repeater in Switzerland, in the Chiltern, which is one of the highest mountain in Switzerland, which allows from there to go to Germany. So we had to work on the 5.7 gig link that HB9F was not receiving. So while for us was okay, so the link was good, but there was some issue on the reception side. On the top of the mountains, Chiltern, all of you know it. He was one of the famous James Bond movie sites. They're doing some artwork on the building, and it looks like they have cut some of the cables. Okay, so the other things which happens around the Lac Léman or Geneva Lake from some other people is that we decided to go to our shoebox and look for some pieces to make some 24 gig transmissions. Okay, so all around the lake. It's about 6-7 guys looking at the old Alcatel white box and other things we have. So we started to do some artwork, and basically I'm using right now, I will show you with a different camera. Where is the camera? Tac. Hello. Come on. Okay. So the camera is coming. So I'm showing I'm working on this oscillator here to box, which is the receiving module, which I use to control my transmission. And we've been able to do with HB9.
Okay, I'm in the machine. Noise in the background, unfortunately. Let me see what I can do here. But I had my volume controller too high on my laptop monitoring the VLC. Maybe that was the problem. Anyway, good evening to you all, noswaith da. Nice to see you all on, and definitely have to make a comment as regards to Rob's signal there. Excellent, Rob, for your portable system. Very good indeed, very interesting, and you're doing very well. That's for sure. Maybe I should do something similar, but I don't think so, to get up onto Mount Snowdon as it is behind me, 3,000 feet. That is, if I could get the train up, of course, and get the equipment up in that way. Nigel, you were coming through okay. The signal was okay. Yeah, it was okay. I think maybe you were having a bit of a problem with the video or something, Nigel. And HB9 DUG, that was a good signal from you also. No problem at all, really, except on the latter part of your over, when you were showing the equipment on your bench there. Unfortunately, on VLC, you froze and we lost the audio. And on my mini tuner, I was still getting the video, but no audio. So I'm afraid we lost quite a bit of the description of the equipment that you were building there, unfortunately. But good signal, and I'm glad, I hope, following my last week's with H264, etc. I've tried to improve this week, and I hope that, well, it is definitely better. My lip sync might be a bit out because I'm using VLC, and for some reason or other I can't get any audio out of the VLC. I can get it in, but it won't get, or the Express software will not accept it or something. So I'm using a webcam, USB webcam, and using the audio from that directly into the Express software. So there we go. News from here. Well, it was activity weekend, wasn't it? So I decided to have a listen here on 144.750 for quite a while I was working in the shack, and I switched on to the SO, see if I could receive any heterodyne, any carriers, but nothing. Nothing at all. Even when I turned my my beam southeast, nothing heard. So it looks as if most of the activity, or all the activity, probably is down south. I don't know what the activity is like up north of England. I heard you say, Dave, that you're going over to the Wirral over the weekend, which would be very, very nice, very good. And I wish you luck that it gets. In fact, we get quite a few.
GW4KZ with the group GI4DOH. It's good evening all, and stop my own sound there. Out of practice, having missed the last couple of weeks. For amateur radio related purposes, I might add that not that I was skipping radio for an evening. What's show? Well, yeah, just to comment. Lovely backdrop there of the mountain, Brian. It's unfortunately the view from here isn't brilliant. Just looking at other houses, although the Irish Sea isn't far away, or the North Antrim coast, there's a little gap between the houses, but nothing as spectacular as that. Or Rob, your view from being out portable. That's sort of quite nice. You got the benefits of radio with lovely scenery around you as well. So I assume you've completed fitting the new van out. So it's very good. I must push towards getting out portable more often myself, as the QTH here isn't very good. What was I going to? Yes, in the last couple of weeks I got another Polycom camera, and can't remember how to do all this. And it was just like the first one. I was just unlucky. The first one, the sort of mount for the camera where it swivels was actually broken. Three of the four mounting points had broken in transit, and I just dialed them up rather than sending the thing back where it was likely to be damaged again. So I've got another camera, which is what's on screen at the moment, and it didn't work when I got it. First of all, I didn't realize the second camera that I have to provide 12 volts for it, which I was just putting it in as camera one. Still wasn't getting any life out of it at all, and there's actually a little printed circuit mount or surface mount fuse on the thing, and that was gone, and it's been replaced actually with just a little sort of wired in ordinary 2 amp fuse, and it's been fine ever since, but that sort of set me back. So I haven't really got round to doing much, or even learning how to operate the thing. I think you should have the other camera actually pointing at the other thing. That today was spent replacing a rotator, one of the old
I haven't really sort of worked out, got all these cameras, but sort of proper studio, been able to look around things. I've had one of these cheap and cheerful TV type rotators on my 10-meter Moxon for about 15 years, and it's just started to get a wee bit iffy. And I bought one of the Yaesu G450 rotators years and years ago, second hand at a rally. So that's a lot of time was spent climbing ladders and running the new type of cable and all the rest. So that kept me busy today, and I'm pretty exhausted after that. So enough waffle from me for one round. I'll pass it on to Mike, G0NJW with the BATC Net. This is GI4DOH.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Hopefully I've got sound. Yep, birds are making a noise in the background as well. But if I haven't got any sound, I'm sorry, but you won't hear me apologise, will you? Just put that up to try and rival Rob, really, but it doesn't work, does it? Okay, I've been doing some more panel work, so that's what this is. It's the CNC machine, and you might be able to see that there's a hole for the LCD has been cut, and a couple of slots have been cut for LEDs and the mounting holes. The next task is to do the bar graph. I don't know if I'll do any engraving on this because I'm not sure it's entirely flat, and that would make the engraving difficult, but also I seem to have slipped the calibration a little bit, so I need to get the Z calibration right. The reason it's not doing anything at the moment is because it makes so much noise you wouldn't hear anything. So that's what that is. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing, and I've been away again, so not around. I've been to Germany actually, a place called Darmstadt, which is near Frankfurt. Anyway, getting on to things, that was a nice spot you had there, Rob, almost in Teesside, in the far north, so good to see you're getting out with a van. And at the moment, when you started out, all I could hear was wind noise and a very, very quiet voice in the background, but once you moved to the inside microphone it was fine. So there's an issue with the wind noise, but I guess that's probably because there's a lot of wind. It's the usual case. Nigel, really good to see you back, and that you've got your dish realigned. That is a problem with dishes getting blown around, and my dish has an incredibly solid mount, so it does tend to stay fixed, but that required half a cubic yard of concrete, so that is quite a sturdy mount, but it's a big dish. And hi to Michael as well. I just saw you testing earlier, well, after your first transmission, to see if you could work out what the problem was. But to me, I had to reset VLC several times. I had audio and video, but it kept the errors were causing VLC to lose sync, and so I lost the audio whilst it was not working. So I missed that. But I gather you were doing something on 24 gigahertz, and you'd been to Germany. I was in Geneva actually, so I was near Lake Leman at the start of the month, but I didn't see any 24 gigahertz stuff. I did very, very briefly put 4U on ITU on the air, but there were no takers virtually on 10 meters, even though it was open to South America. But the plan is to get them on QO-100, so any assistance with getting them on QO-100 would be good. Brian, your video is okay, but the frame rate seems incredibly low, so we can't really tell if the lip sync's there or not. I know mine's probably way out. But the audio was good, so, and the picture quality is excellent, so you're certainly getting that. And it may be just me, but I did have this issue with the frame rate. And Richard, I spotted the Polycom in the background and the monitor that you've got there. Sorry to hear about you getting them with broken necks. The first one I ordered came with a broken neck as well. So the seller sent me another one, and I asked him to tape it up to stop it moving about in transit, and I think that's critical. So if you're buying one of these Polycom cameras, the pan tilt zoom ones, get the seller to put tape around it so that it can't possibly move, and then it'll be okay, I think. But the other issue on the 12 volts, I find my second one needs 12 volts as well, but it needs 12 volts of the wrong polarity, well, wrong polarity compared to what everybody else uses. So that's the issue with that, and might be the reason that the fuse has been replaced. Okay, I don't have much else to add yet, and we wanted to get round quickly. Sorry, Dave, for waffling. So round to you, John. G7JTT, G0MJW.
Just make sure I've got some audio, which I hopefully have. 1 2 1 2, yeah. Right. I'll try and keep this as quick as I can. I've got too many things wrote down. I don't know what it is lately, but I seem to be dropping things constantly. Right. It appears that both Mike and Rob are in a contest, because I was going to comment on with regards how nice the bird sounds were and all the birds you could hear in the background and stuff, in amongst the wind. And then, of course, Mike comes up with his blackbirds in the background. So Rob wins it on the variety of birds, but certainly you can't beat a black. Stuff like that. Grow a beard and moustache. Can't see your mouth move. That's probably the easiest thing to do on that. But if I just do that way, you'll see that was just at the. It never passed over us. It passed off to the east to us. It's probably every 2 to 3 seconds. The new first hour as the storm's hitting the south coast. That was pretty impressive, wasn't it? So anyway, right, on to the main thing for tonight. Gareth, I'm still thinking about things. I haven't got around to trying anything yet, but I'm sure you'll probably have something to show on that. But I've been themselves 12 volts, yeah, tiny little thing compared to it's gonna have to be I mean, that's the equivalent sealed lead acid. I should think that's a third of the weight. Anyway, so that's one of them, and then the other one, again thanks to Jim or James, whichever. I'm building into an old ammunition box, so there's the front panel. I ain't quite finished it off yet, but inside for a moment, there is 15 hole 5 around about 30 amps, which is 13.6 volts, which means about 18 odd volts. So that will run per.
Evening, everybody. Evening, everybody. We have fans, right? Okay. Let's have some human from G4XAT. Thanks, John. Well, busy week here. I've just had 2 lovely days getting the garden ship shape, as in everything's planted out, and the chilies are starting to crop, which is nice. They're nice and early this year. But then they were planted on the 1st of January, so that's progressing well. Okay. Had lots of fun last Saturday on 10 and 24 gigahertz. But since Michelle was showing slightly less impressive on camera, here we are, slightly less impressive assembly. But it's a control PCB, which is basically PCT and power supplies, interface boards and a relay. And you add external local oscillator, which does for transmit and receive, and then bung the output either to mini tuner or a Pluto, and that's where the output comes from, well, the input, the transmit input. And it worked on narrowband, although it was a bit squirrely on narrowband. SSB was usable on FM, but it drifted like something that drifted on SSB, and it didn't just go one way. It sort of went one way and then came back the other, which might have been the phase lock loop. Then the poor old thing was running at 1.8 gig, which is then multiplied by 12, so I think I'll let it off. Right, let's just try a better camera. Okay. I've been playing with this stuff, especially if I switch cameras. That'd be smart, wouldn't it? Waveguide for 24 gig. So I've made this, which is the circular feed from rather a nice Andrews dish that I picked up. But my question is, okay, I think I understand that when the waveguide is vertical, like that, the polarization is horizontal. Okay, so this waveguide is horizontal, so the radiation coming out will be vertical. Whereas that waveguide is now vertical, so the radiation coming out of here will be horizontal. So fingers crossed on that one. Okay, what else have I got? I'm trying to build a negative 12 volt simple power supply, and it's driving me nuts. I'd love if someone can point me to an easy solution for that. I mean, I've got the data sheet up for. Hang on while I find it. It is that one, not that one. It's that one there. Pictures, transition. Okay, that's a typical power supply. I don't know why it's giving me such jip, but it is. A long time it seems that I used to be able to build circuits with my eyes shut on this. I've also got this one here, the right hand one with the PNP transistor. But there's some confusion. Let's leave it at that. The only other thing I'll say this over is BATC Easy. I downloaded it and it works fine. It's like there hasn't been any problem at all, just like FreeStream 2.80. I'm just wondering though, can he change the transmit range on the Pluto to cover the 6 gigs that a Pluto will do? Because if he can, it's an absolute gift. So fingers crossed on that one. Right, more details on Harwell, please. Like, is there a lecture stream, or is it just a bring and buy, or is it a get together, or what? And yeah, I love the blackbirds. They're very soothing to listen to. I sometimes have a cup of tea in the afternoon and sit out in the garden and listen to them singing their little hearts out. Oh, that's enough for me this over. Round to you, Martin, G8 KOE, to pick it up from G4X18, the BATC Net. Over.
Right, it looks like we've made it. Let's make sure I've got some sound. And right, let's kill the sound. I think we are. What have I been up to? Not a great deal. Just generally playing in the shack. Did manage to work Roger G3 IUZ on 23 Sems Direct. So that's the first digital contact I've had since I've been down in the West Country. On 23 Sems, absolutely superb pictures. So one way at the moment, but I think Roger's putting his equipment back together again. So hopefully we'll get a two-way, and then we should be able to do it on 70 as well, which is the next task. It's the equipment's put together. It's in the rack in the garage, so shouldn't be too much of a problem there. But his signal was absolutely colossal. No problems at all. Let's look at the chat. No one's saying anything. I've been digging around in the garage and located some of the old ATV stuff, which a lot of people will recognise as the Worthing transmitter, or the Solent transmitter, when printed circuit boards were not quite as they used to be. But they were, it's difficult looking one way and doing the other way. That was in 1984, G8 CMQ designed the extra transmitter, and that's what's in that box. And that's the phase lock loop board, SP5060 if I remember rightly, that we used to do in a kit. I've still got a kit there, but also amongst the stuff I found these, which into digital filters for 23 Sems. That's what we used to use on GB3 VR at one stage, particularly this one that was built by, it used to be on the input of VR. Let's get it in the right place. That was built by Roy, G4WTV, another old ATV person. And lots of crystals for all different frequencies, RMT2, etc, etc, and a crystal for 16.7, which one might ask why 16.7. If anyone remembers the Amstrad receiver, to get, if I remember rightly, the intercolor sound, you needed to 6 megs, you had to change the crystal, or it was easy to change the crystal. But that's what I've been playing with. Let's move the other. Now I can show an outside shot. This is what it looks like outside here. The garden cam as such, which is the second camera through the window, just as a quick whistle around. That's what's happening out here. Oh, I hit the wrong button now. Back to there. Let's come back to me. I won't come back for a second one there, Dave, as it's a busy net. So I think I should probably end up being tied up with sorting something out with the cat that I think's going to need some medication, etc. So I think I'll pass it on to who is it? G8 XTW, I think it is, to take it next. Hopefully I've got it right. And yeah, good to see everybody on. Oh, I didn't comment on M0DTS's portable, absolutely superb. last time I remember going portable with the ATV with the Worthing group, I had a beard and long hair down to the shoulders. So I was trying to find a picture, but I couldn't. But yeah,
Okay, with apologies, I've just been chatting away there and I've got too much audio going on. And of course transmitting a test card. Fantastic. So apologies from GW7BZY. I'll come on next time and say BZY. Having problems with mini-tune on the scan tuner. Going on and off. GW7BZY. Again with apologies.
GW7BZY and the group GHEKQ. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was a good lesson in how video and compression works. It was good, interesting to see the artifacts all over the picture, but not a lot else, unfortunately, there. But we'll take your comments next round. Right, I've got lots to show, and having told people to be quick, I don't think I'm going to be. Yeah, a really good weekend on the portable front. This was me out with, I was actually out with Martin GED-OFA, but that was me lining up the 10 gigs gear prior to talking to Gareth. I think that's Gareth's direction, yep. But a really good day. Let's just do that. And also Gareth was on 5.7 gigs, and I challenge anyone to come up with a better signal than that on 5.7 gigs. The 1560 is my IF frequency, but that's a really clean signal from Gareth and strong. So really good. Video quality not as good as usual. I don't know why that is, no. Okay, let's get back to the camera, which is that one. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit blocky as I move around. I think I'm moving more. Things to say. I've heard today from Dave Mann's brother, and Dave is making a good recovery after his hospital stay, but unfortunately won't be with us at Dunstable. Dunstable, we are taking the BATC shop. BATC will have a stand, so please make the effort to get there and come and talk to us. Mike, I'd like to talk to you about 4U ITU when you're there. I think that we could talk about that. I purchased a meter during the week from Lidl. I don't know whether people have seen this meter. How's that coming out? Oh, it's coming out reasonably well. Made by Parks, or branded Parkside, but there are details on the internet of how to modify that with an opto isolator, so you can actually capture the data out of it. It gives the reading in 2400 baud once every half a second, so can do some work on that. Next thing to show is this for Gareth. There's been lots of talk in the chat about how you should do your 12 volts. You need one of those. Jim is the man to provide one. If not, I can give you one of my spares. I've got one spare, I think. Those modules are exactly what you want to do your negative supply, and it will do exactly as you need. I've used supplying negative supply in the way you're talking about. Other comments for Gareth, that polarity of the circular wave depends what happens in that corner on the 24 gigs where it turns from square to round. So I'm not really sure what polarity will come out of it. I think experimentation might be the way to find it. Your drift on 24 gigs was probably wind across the oscillator. I've had that in the past. As the wind blows on the oscillator, it cools down and drifts one way, and as it stops blowing, it drifts the other way. Martin, pleased to hear you've had a simplex contact with Roger G3IUZ. First day of the ATV contest, I'll be out with 23 SEMs on Dunkery, so I'd like to be able to try and work you then. That'd be good. Rob, really good pictures from standing top there. That's quite a bit away from where you normally go. Had a look on Hey What's That, but I couldn't work out what that other peak was. Nigel, good to see you on again. Your audio was a bit low, that's the only comment I've got, but really good pictures anyway. Michelle, 24 gig system looks good, but she did have a lot of TS errors, which caused us some problems there. The only other thing I have to show is my new toy. Picking it up. This is the famous Portsdown double. One of them's been running for a while. The other one I've just booting up. So the left-hand side, as you look at it, there is a Portsdown 2020 with a LimeNet Micro, and the right-hand side is a Portsdown 4. You can tell the difference in the shape of the buttons. Just if you know what to look for. So one's for transmit, one's for receive. And that's being built up for the contest in a metal box to shield it all. It's got no lid at the moment. But that's making significant progress and was used last weekend. One side of it was. The second side I built since then. Just put that down. The only other comment was, yeah, Brian, I won't be at the Wirral talk. I'm doing the talk via Zoom. It's a bit too far for a quick dash on a day. And John, yeah, the storms here were pretty amazing as well. So let's put it round to Rob again, see how dark it's getting up there. But look forward to seeing you all at, or as many of you as possible, at Dunstable on Sunday. M0 DTS portable, G8GKQ.
There we go. Yeah, GKQ. And 0 DTS portable on the QO-100 Net. Apologies for a bit more background noise. I've had to put the heater on. It's absolutely freezing up here. I've kind of got the door open still, so that isn't helping matters. But it's toasty now anyway, so that's all good. But yeah, it has got a little bit darker. Not a massive amount. I've got the other camera which is actually facing through the door, so you can see the operating position. So there we go. So that's looking in the side of the van there, and you can see the Portsdown double here as well. That it is gradually getting there. We're doing a bit of work on that. Little baby one here with a 5-inch screen in. This is I've used this box from something else. That's still being worked on quite heavily. That it's just chucked together tonight so I can have the band viewer and the receive at the same time through the main Portsdown. We're using the laptop on the top to do all the encoding and everything, so it's looking quite good. I'll get the camera in and I'll show you properly. This 5-meter HDMI lead is working perfectly fine on top of the other 5-meter HDMI lead. Right, so it's certainly doable. No issues there. We've got nice fluid video apart from the blocking. Let's set a little bit. Yeah, apologies for the quality not being that great. Probably could go to 2/3, I guess, but yeah, so that's showing the 2. That's the band viewer one with the 5-inch on. I've just knocked that together this afternoon, so I could use it tonight. Not the front panel, that is. but a little bit of wiring on the inside. So I'm not using the air spy, that one, because the lime is actually in that box with the main ports down. So yeah, it's working really well. So no, it's not too dark yet. The sun has actually set. There we go. Just over the horizon there. If you're a bit higher up, that'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, it's coming through quite nice. Still see round. Yeah, see the North York through, but it's not right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's helpful. Right, yeah, apologies for the audio. I'm actually outside the van now. I didn't bother switching. Yeah, that high ground in the distance there is the North Yorkshire Moor. So that's pretty much that. Not quite as distant as that when I'm at home, but it isn't far away from. Around here. Yeah, right on the border. But yeah, it is. It's a reasonable distance, Dave, from home. It took about 50 minutes, I think, and that was in rush hour traffic as well. So that wasn't too bad. I don't consider that being bad at all. So happy with that. But there we go. Comments. Let's see. Yeah, that panel's coming along nice on your amp mic. Once you got something CNC mill of some sort, it's actually quite easy to do that stuff if you can be bothered to put the time into doing it. I'm glad you got another camera, Richard. You did mention that other one was a bit damaged. Yeah, that lightning was quite spectacular, John. We haven't had any real. We've had what? I don't think we've had any thunderstorms yet up here, and for me that is quite unusual, I would say. So I'm sure some will come and cause some damage and things, but yeah, the round waveguide on 24 gigs. Yes, I would think it probably will come out the right, as you would expect it, with the circular part on the end. But as Dave said, it depends how it launches from one to the other, I would imagine. Fine on the analog stuff, Martin, that looks good. Yeah, I've still got an analog transmitter down in the bottom here. 23 sems analog there, and a 13 sems analog there, and they always come with me. I don't ever use them anymore, but they're always in the van. So that's good. G8XTW, unfortunately, with my current setup on the dish, the dual feed and everything, it's about a dB down, so unfortunately it didn't quite decode with me. Thanks for the update on Dave, ADM Dave. Yeah, I was going to question that actually, how he was doing, because I hadn't heard anything for a little while. But that's good. So, great. Right, well, as you can see, it's a lot lighter this week, just a week later, but it is clear skies tonight compared with what we had last week. It's quite a nice sky pattern out here, so I'll leave you with the sunset. Don't know how this will come through. It's quite good. So yeah, there we are, the sunset from Stang Top, and that is coming through superb. Very happy with that. Yeah, I'll try and possibly go up to 2 over 3 next time. I plan to be on portable again next week. Yeah. Not sure where yet, because I'm at work on the Thursday, but I'll finish it. Well, I finish at 7, maybe finishing early. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I hope to be on next week portable again. If I come out of work at 7 o'clock, I may be cutting it a bit fine. I'll try and find somewhere just up the road from work and park up there. So, and then after that, I'll probably not be doing it for a few weeks, and we'll see what happens after that. But I've quite enjoyed it. So that's week 3 portable and 0 DTS. Right, who does it go to? Is it round to Nigel again? Let me just get the chat. I've lost it. The demilitarized zone, yeah. Yeah, lovely sunset, it certainly is. Right, round to you, Nigel. And I don't know whether I'll come back on after, at the end. I'll probably not this week, because like I said, it'll probably take us nearly an hour to get back, so that's going to be nigh on 10 o'clock set off, I think. So good night to all. M0 DTS portable, and round to you, Nigel.
To 0HH, returning back to the net. Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Still pretty good. Still got you through okay. Your audio, your video was okay. I did one slight. When you went outside to show us around, there's no audio on it to show us, because I think you was using your mic in your van. So when you went outside, you lost your audio going. Not sure. Anyway, I won't keep it, because as I say, I'm still having problems to send with trying to think what machine I've got. So like the brain goes. I forget what it's called now. Anyway, it's not a mini tune, it's the other one I would apply for. But I'm still not getting. I'm still having problems receiving. I don't know if it's LVC wants sorting out. Well, we're still having problems. I think I need help, but not tonight. Anyway. Thanks everybody, I'm glad I come back and made it on all the way, not 100%. I'll land it straight, Ham's getting on it straight across to Michelle, HB9DUG. You can take the carrier, mate. God bless, see you all next week hopefully. Bye. Back to test card.
Three. Okay, I think I will do better this time. Try to change to another webcam. So for Garrett, just to show him, this is one of these Alcatel white box receiver module, for which you need 5 and -5, so I get it from one of these DC-DC I had on the door for ±12, so behind I have done LM to do the -5 and the +5. Okay, so very nice to have and to use. Okay, and quickly, just to show you, this is the circuit which is inside the Nortel white box. They are used for links on 25 gigs. Okay, so on one side you have the amplifier, and on the other side you have the receiver part and the mixer, and here you have the local oscillator, and I have another one which I have opened it, and I'm going to change the oscillator so it's lower in frequency. Okay, and a few of my friends have ordered the Polish transceiver last week, so we'll see what happens with that also. Okay, so I hope that this time the transmission was okay, and I wish you all a nice evening with lovely weather. Here it's still 27 degrees in my room under the roof, so it's quite hot. So back to you to GI4 Delta Oscar Hotel. Bye to all from HB9.
HB9DUG with the BATC group. This is GI4DOH. Pressing the button's not getting it right. I'll have to work on this offline and smoothen my transition a bit better. I get myself in a panic every time. It's a nice looking stuff there, Michelle, that I haven't touched waveguide as yet, and Gareth, you were talking about it, and I had noticed on the microwave group the things that you were doing at that. It's a whole new field that I need to get into at some stage. With the EME stuff, the intention is to do 10 gigahertz at some stage, and it would certainly be in my interest to use waveguide to keep the electronics away from the feed point if I can. So lots of adventures in the future with that. And just looking at what I got in front of me, yes, the weapon of choice for very quiet switching things, thanks to James. Those are very good. Those are second to none, and certainly beat the spots off the standard buck converters for ripple and buzz and everything else. Other things, Mike, you commented on the polarity for the Polycom cameras. Yes, fortunately, I had read about that first, and I can't really unplug it now. The power lead that I have going in has one of the tie wraps with the labels on it, clearly stating that it is reverse polarity on it, so it won't get used for anything else because it's got power poles on the other end, and there's a tendency to swap cables from time to time, but that is clearly marked that it is reverse polarity. Mike, your little milling machine there, it's one of the things. I'm way behind everybody in all these things. Something that I'm looking at the moment. Is that something you would recommend? In which case, would you be prepared to share what one it is, or anybody else thinks there's anything better? I think the time has come, particularly looking at some of the things that people are doing with it. I've mastered the 3D printer at the moment, so I'm sort of ready to move on to some new learning as time goes on. And on the bird noises, Gareth, and also John and all the rest there, I had a chap round painting the window frames of the house today. Getting too old to do that sort of thing myself. and the windows were open. And I'm thinking, actually, you know, I can hear all these things that normally with double glazing I don't get to hear at all. There's quite a lot of avian activity in the garden and sort of the forest area across the road from us. So the only other thing I've been messing about with, I finally succumbed and got one of these little alleged 2.4 gigahertz pallets, and got as far as I removed all the filtering, and there's a slight attenuator on the input to the driver stage, and I haven't got as far as measuring to see if it's improved the output, which was starting to drop off at about 40 watts or so. So since removing those components, I've only checked the input. It hasn't done anything particularly helpful with the SWR. If anything, it's gone up as opposed to down, but there are other mods that I can do as well. So little challenge, little by little, amongst all these things. So I think that's it. All the toys out of the way. I'm up there around next week. It's the RSTB 80 meter club championship, CW, and I need to keep my hand in on that in case I forget it. So I think it is on to you now, Mike. G0MJW with the BATC group. This is GI4DOH. Good night, all.
Okay, thank you, Richard. So there is a better version of the milling machine available, which I'm not looking at anymore with the camera, with a much more robust frame and all aluminium and Z-axis. I'll probably buy one, but unfortunately they're £660 in the UK. They're a lot cheaper in the US. They're $500 and something in the US. But in the UK they're £660, so there you go. Okay, let's move on to what I was going to show, which is not a lot really. I'm not sure that's exactly the right name for it, but it is something like that, Pro Max 3020. It looks lovely actually. You're always going to be limited by the rigidity of the machine, but it's a much better job than the one I've got. Then again, the one I've got did only cost £120 shipped, and for that price, I mean, what can you say? There's the 24 volt power supply on the bench at the moment, and the other thing that's on there is a box full of those pallets that Gareth and I have been using. And coincidentally, I think the little thing to the side of it is an amplifier I got off Jim, which I'm not likely to use, which is the 2.4 gigahertz amplifier, based on that single device. That works reasonably well, but is just woefully inefficient. Possibly not quite as inefficient as my other amplifier, actually, my Stealth microwave. But it's not the most efficient of devices. But it does the job. You just have to cool it. That's the main point. And there are some mods to improve things. But there are better modules available. But if you want about 20 or 30 watts, you can just use the first stage, and they're not very expensive. They're only about £40 or so to buy from Bison Electronics on eBay. So they're very good value, really. Okay. So the question I have really is, what does anyone want who's going to Dunstable? If I come to Dunstable, which sounds like it's a good idea, what to bring, really? And I guess that would apply to everybody. So what are people looking for that other people have? Michael, it was nice to see that module you had there. I think that was one of the Alcatel white box ones. I've got a complete white box. In fact, I've got two of them for different bands in the garage, and I've got quite a few. Noel and Dave will be familiar with my 24 gigahertz scrap bits box, which has got various bits of 24 gigahertz hardware that I've picked up over the years. And I think I've got some of those modules in there. You've seen them at Valleys for £1 or £2. You basically snap them up. The other thing, of course, is the relays, which came from New Zealand a while back. 24 gigahertz relays, waveguide relays, hard to come by. And I remember there was some waveguide 16, 10 gigahertz relays around as well for a while, which are very useful if you're going to do EME. And that was the plan, to use the dish that I showed you on the test card, which had gone into black and white because it's getting dark outside now, with my Azel mount, which has not yet been fabricated, but I have got the major components to use that for EME. I've only got 10 watts on 10 gigahertz, but that should be sufficient, I think, at least to do something. So yeah, one of these days maybe I'll get round to it, and again possibly not. Oh yeah, the other question was, when are people going to be turning up at Dunstable? In terms of setting stands up and things, what's the demand for what time people come? I know what time the public entry time is. I mean, for coming and setting up the stand. So with that, let's go back to the list, and it's still John, isn't it? G7JTT. I liked your thunderstorm images there, John. So let's see what you've got to show us this time. G7JTT, G0MJW.
Just confirm, got some audio. Yep, right, that'll do. Right, which order I'll do it in. Dunstable Down, unlikely, to be honest. Probably a bit too far for me to drive at the moment. Yeah, if I wake up early on a day or something, then maybe. But anyway, we shall see on that. I did mean to mention as well, I think someone else, I forget who it was now, said it as well, that they're using DATV Easy. I've got the laptop here with Mini Tuner running, OBS, Quick Tune, DATV Easy, the whole lot's running, and it's just fine, just works. So it's really quite nice, to be honest. Also means I don't have to have extra fans running in the Pi that I use, the port stand. The fan, it's gone noisy, and I will change it. And I know Jim's got hundreds of fans at the moment, so I'll have to get one off of him shortly. But yeah, at the moment it's all being driven by the PC, so that's that. Rob, you mentioned rush hour traffic. I moved down here in Southampton-ish area about 30 odd years ago. Yeah, 30 plus years ago, whatever it was. Anyway, I was working for a building firm up in London. They gave me the opportunity to move down here. Biggest mistake I ever made, because he ripped me off anyway. That's history. But anyway, so there we go. But I used to be in these vans with these guys, and they always say, "Oh, brimming traffic tonight. It's horrendous. It's horrendous." I think, there's like 10 cars. You're moving. It's not like London, 1 mile an hour if you're lucky. And even back, 30 odd years ago, it was still ridiculous. So, it just makes me laugh when people say about rush hour traffic, because now, of course, I've got used to the traffic around here, and yeah, I'm like everybody else, moan like hell when it's, 4 or 5 cars in front of you or whatever. But, yeah, it's funny how different rush hours around the country mean different things to different people. So, obviously the cities are, probably, the same no matter where you go, but semi-rural stuff will be different things. We've got the main road out the back here, back there rather, 2 times a day, morning, afternoon, for about 30 minutes, it's chocker and it's all gone. And that's it, that is the rush hour, so nothing really to worry about. And a random video that I came across on YouTube, which I'll post a link on the chat in a second. YouTube at the moment is driving me mad because the adverts and stuff on there. But anyway, every so often it throws up an absolute clonker of a video. And this video is a guy with a 20 watt laser one of these industrial engraving type things, whatever it is. And what he's doing, he's actually skimming off and getting down to the dies in various different ICs and transistors and voltage regulators and all sorts of things he's doing on there. And it's just fantastic to watch. And he shows you quite a nice sort of close-up view of the various bits and pieces. But if you've ever wondered what's inside those sort of, the little black chip things, whatever, take a look at the video. It's absolutely stunning the way it works. And you definitely wouldn't want to be anywhere near this laser when he's doing the stuff. So, just one of those random videos that I saw. Right, okay. I think that was all I had on there. Dust for down, laser, DTV, rush hour. That's pretty much it. So, round to Gareth again. G4 XAT, G7 JTT in the group. And I'll just leave you with a shot of Appley Beach on the Isle of Wight, which last night was stunning to watch with the lightning. Absolutely horrendous for those underneath it, but stunning for those that were just watching on the screen. So anyway, right, round to you, Gareth. G4 XAT, G7 JTT.
Lovely. Thanks, John. G4XAT picking it up. Right. Okay. Thanks for all the notes about the power supplies. Yeah, the issue is I want it portable. So I've emailed James, who can hopefully spare some of his remaining stock in my direction. And I think Justin's trying to convert one for the same purpose, as far as I can tell. Okay, now that waveguide, let me just find the pictures and transition to that. Okay, this is the original circular feed. Now on the left hand side you can see a little white plug. That is just to keep the insects out. That's a blurred photo, so that's no good. That's how the original assembly was put together. Okay, so you've got an RX port on 22.5 gig and a TX port on 23.8 or something like that. Now, if I could tune one of those, I could have done that. That's what the transition looks like. Okay, so the top of the picture is towards the Cassegrain feed in the dish. So that's circular, and then you've got that slot. It doesn't quite go all the way down to the bottom. You just see my mouse. That's about 2/3 of the way down the bore, which is up there. Okay. That wasn't supposed to happen. So that is a piece of waveguide I picked up at Martlesham, which I've since hacked. So you can see the waveguide pushes through the flange, and when I got a really good snug fit, it was all faced off in the lathe and everything, so dead square, no light showing through. I soldered it up, and then on the back of that I made an SMA launcher out of some more scraps as per the dimensions on the web. And that's a chili. It's a new variety this year. Absolutely beautiful little flower. And that is 2 tripods, 3 tripods actually. The paper outline on top is the one Dave sent me, FRE. The one underneath is my tripod, and the tripod that's just arrived today is the same as Dave's one. Okay, and that's my new bearing for Mark II. Not that there's going to be any changes, except because it's going to have a fairly heavy dish on it. I'm not going for a central mount bearing, I'm going for a bit of an offset, so the dish is more over the tripod. And that's the right size spacer. If Dave is watching, he'd be pleased to know that's on his way to him now. Right, okay, before we bore everybody with this, we'll go back to my camera. Can of this arrived today. Ironic actually, I ordered it from Farnell, 28 quid or something, so I stuck a few bits and pieces in the order to get the free delivery at 40 quid plus VAT. What did they do? They sent them in separate boxes. So they paid 2 lots of carriage charge for the sake of me ordering some bits. Anyway, I've sprayed the inside of the back of my Mini horse down, and I have to say, I just gave that one coat this afternoon. Not a particularly heavy coat. There's no runs in it or anything. And stick the multimeter probes on there, and it's about 5 to 7 ohms anywhere in the box. So I'm going to do as much of the front panel as I can as well, and hopefully shut that noisy little Raspberry Pi up. Okay, I think that covers it. Thanks for all the links, people, and the comments. And round to you, Martin, G8 KOE, to pick it up. From me, G4XAT, and the BATC Net. So, good evening, everybody. See you.
It's all gone quiet. It's actually, I know Martin wasn't going to come back on, nor was Phil. So I think it's round to GW7BZY.
One part of the system up. Should be transmitting now. And I turn this receiver. There we go. We're on. I'm going to mute the audio. Okay, thank you. Apologies for the test transmission. I think it put the encoder under a certain amount of strain. I probably made a few people seasick as well, so I do apologise for that. It was good to see KAZ. I had said, but it was good to see KAZ on, and it's probably the best picture I've seen from in all the years I've worked on ATV, and that is quite a number. Starting many years ago with the Worthington solvent kit, which I purchased and assembled, probably in the 80s sometime. I can't remember when. And then I was off for a little while, but I've been working ATV. I used to work AM ATV prior to that, into Bray and Dublin, and work a lot of 77 ATV. Previous, and I don't know what's happened to the amateur television on the Irish side. I've not seen any of them on the satellite, apart from for the GI station. I mean, Republic of Ireland. I'm very pleased to say that I'm receiving everybody that's transmitting. So my receive side, although I haven't improved it, seems to be working pretty well. The only thing that I use in the receive is it's just a impedance match transformer from 70 to 75 ohms to 50 ohms, which has a bonus effect of shutting off at about 1 gig. It gives me about a dB of better reception from noise. Premiere is about a dB better, half a dB to dB, so it has some effect. And whether anybody else is using filters in the receive chain to cut down the noise from the LNB, it seems to work for me anyway. What else was I going to say? DTS, good to see you mobile. Good pictures, very nice sunset, really good location, fantastic lightning video. No lightning here in North Wales that I can remember seeing. that night. I don't know. I think I heard something a little bit early evening, but then it quietened down. Dunstable Down. I think it might be too far. I was going to look on Google and sort of find out where it was, but sure, I've got no idea what part of the country that is in, to be fair. And ATX, fantastic bits of engineering there. Anybody doing waveguides, etc., very jealous. That's about it from GW7BZY, I think. With apologies once again from GW7BZY in now not so sunny North Wales.
GW7BZY and the group G8GKQ. Yeah, it's right over in Bedfordshire, near Luton Airport, as Noel says, Dunstable Down. So probably is a bit far for you, but it's one of the better rallies, so well worth the trip in my view. Gareth, I'm still none the wiser on that feed. I think Michael we need an expert to look at that, but I can't work it out in my head which way up it's going to be. I agree with John about the traffic. Yeah, we now talk about a traffic jam into Salisbury if it takes us a couple of minutes to get down there. It's really different down here. Yeah, we're hoping to be at Dunstable about 8:45, so we're ready for the 9 o'clock start. It's going to be quite a reasonable length drive from here. Michelle, that 24 gigs kit looks really nice and no problems with your pictures that time. I don't know whether you made any adjustments, but it was all smooth, so really good to see you on. Nigel, really good pictures from you. Good to see you on again, and look forward to seeing you again next week. Interesting to see you've built a Portsdown double there, Rob, or put two side by side. Yeah, it really does make a lot of difference, I find, for digging the weak signals out of the noise, and hence the reason I've put the two in one box. I've got a 5-inch as well that may end up being put next to the dish, so I can do easy peeking of the dish. But that's a future activity. Right, a really interesting net. Thanks all for coming on tonight, and look forward to seeing many of you at the weekend. G8GKQ closing the BATC net and leaving the frequency clear. Good night all.
myself there, but I know my receive isn't particularly good. Right. It's not a massive amount of power more actually, but it is half a dB. Yeah, 0.6. It is starting. No, 0.7, 0.8. Yeah, it's getting on towards a dB. It's not compressing that much. So that's a little bit more. So 2/3. Yeah. Yeah, and on Mike's massive antenna. Okay, Tim. Yeah. No, it's not too bad. Not bad at all. But yeah, the D0.2. I don't think it'll sag very much. This amp seems to work quite well. This isn't my favourite camcorder, but it's very similar to the other one. Yeah, you can see my own signal on there, so it's not bad. Yeah, there's a bit of slope on there, so you got 2.5 dB worth of slope on the spectrum on my AirSpy there. So that's not too bad really. If I had to offset 1 meter on the van, then I think probably get another half a dB out of it, maybe on 13/7s possibly. Maybe not quite that much, but definitely better anyway. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole setup there basically. The Pluto and a big pile of USB cables is hidden behind the laptop, so it actually looks quite neat when you're looking in from the front. Everything looks fine. I learnt the lesson earlier. Basically, I think what it is, 2 separate power supplies into a Pluto is not a good idea. That's what I've learned. Well, the problem I had before was that I couldn't supply enough power from the laptop to power the USB to keep the Pluto going, because I had everything else plugged in on the laptop on USBs. But this week I got myself a powered hub, 4-port powered hub with a charge output as well, and I used the charge output to power the Pluto plus the Pluto into the hub at the same time, and that didn't work so well. So yeah, never mind. Anyway, so at the moment it's just running with 1 USB cable and all as well. So there we are. Right, we'll see what it's like outside, because there is okay. Yeah, there's still a sunset out there. I'll try and speak into the van. There's some lovely plane trails going over as well. Yeah, that picture quality is improved. I can give you the view over Teesside. You can actually see where Teesside is now from here. It's quite noticeable if I zoom in on the horizon. There's a lot of lights in that direction compared with everywhere else. Not focusing on them very particularly well. Towards the south, that direction there is towards the south. Can't make out anywhere in particular, I don't know enough of it. There we go. Right. Switch back to other camera. There we are. So that is it for another week. Actually, yeah, better if I actually switch to the other camera. So yeah, 2/3 on the net is actually possible, but it's just right on the edge. Has the polycom? Oh, I've had one a little while now. Mike. It actually does work better than the C920. I do like it. Yeah. light level wise, it seems to be better. The C920 is a bit more grainy, but the only problem I have in here is it doesn't like to focus on me. So I've got that. Well, there's not much of me basically, so it doesn't have a clue what it's doing. And that is the problem. If I sit right close up, like over here, you put it. Oh, actually, yeah, I could actually do that, can't I? Because it's got a zoom option. Really me. Configure. Camera control. Zoom. Blip, 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 blip. Right, I don't know if it'll actually focus on me when it's zoomed. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably have to adjust ever so slightly there. But yeah, it is a bit better that. And it's focusing on me okay there. Yeah, quite happy with that. I'll have to measure what that actual power output is there, but it's probably more like 45 watts, I would think. It's drawing 7.6 amps at 27 volts, so it's still not a massive output. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens next week. Like I said, I'm not sure whether I will be on or not. I'm hoping to be. I'll home, and we may park up somewhere and give it a try. But it'll certainly not be as nice a view as it is up here. That's for sure. But at least tonight I can pack up in the light. Makes quite a difference when it isn't cloudy. Okie dokie. Well, yeah, I'll be packed up in probably 10 minutes or so. I'm going to stick a little video on YouTube of the setup, setting it up and actually aligning the dish on the or using the ground noise on the horizon and things. I'll do a little YouTube video for that. It may be of interest to people, so I'll try and put that up this week. I did a little video of setting the dish up, so I'll probably add that in. You can see how easy it is to just clip it in and go now with the new 3D printed click-in mounts. So that'll change when I change dish probably, but there we go. Right, so good night to all, and maybe see you next week. M0DTS Portable, County Durham. I haven't got a test card to put up. That's no good, is it? I'll have to leave you with the sunset again, I guess, or something. Let's see. Right. Not much of a sunset now, but anyway, it'll do. So I did find one of the TV masts. I'll have to figure out which one that is now. Probably more room available on that as well. That one's pretty well lit up, isn't it? This camera has some tremendous zoom on it. It's got about a 90 times optical zoom, I think. But that is quite impressive. It's probably like 40 kilometers that or something. Yeah. Super. Right, good night.